burst power. I don't know what happened, but...
So in this video, I'm going to be talking about David and if he's worth prestiging to level 5. His Prestige 1 ability increases the damage reduction when you drink his Shemps from 20 to 23%, and the effect lasts an extra 2 seconds. This is noticeable, just like how Support Ash's healing, alternative healing, is noticeable from 20 to 25%. It's a slight notice. His P5 ability decreases the cooldown for Beacon of Hope, which is decreased by 10 seconds. The fear reduction speed is increased by 0.5 from base, and the duration is increased by 3 seconds. Now, in total, this is going to have a cooldown of 1 minute and 17 seconds. And what I mean by that is, when you place down ability, your cooldown starts immediately then. So it's going to last the full 33 seconds. And in that 33 seconds, you'll only have 1 minute and 17 seconds of downtime. So what does that mean for book phase? So as soon as you place Flame, your Beacon of Hope, you have 1 minute and 17 seconds. And then you can place another one. And that lasts another 33 seconds. So you almost have your ability during all of book phase. So this is very useful. You have about more than half during book phase. And this is very good. You can even decrease this time. You can't get it to 3 times, unfortunately. Even if you run a Brock and a Ruby, it's not possible. Even Brock at P5. Because when you use Brock's P5 ability, it speeds up your cooldown reduction. This is a very useful ability, but it's a poor man's exorcism. So Hunter Ash is definitely has a better ability than David. The thing is, Hunter Ash and David are a very good combo. Now, the build I have for him is 4 into Shemps Plus, that way I'm healing my teammates more. 2 into 4 Artful Dodges, so I'm dodging more. David is actually more of a ranged character than a melee character. He's 1 out of 5 diamonds, and I'll show that later on, and 2 out of 5 diamonds with range. So as you can see here, his balance bar damage is only 15% with Seeing Stars, and for balance bar with ranged weapons, it's 25%. So I feel like this is more useful for David, and it really pairs well with his ability. Every shotgun pellet decreases Inferno energy. So you want to run a shotgun with them. The thing is, he's a very good combo with Hunter Ash, and Hunter Ash normally uses a shotgun. So what ends up happening is you have to use Nail Gun. His Nail Gun mastery is not good. You're not going to be using for damage. It's mostly for the balance bar and the reload speed. Yeah. So once again, we want to stay alive longer, so we want Tougher Than Hell. This is just for weapon damage. We're going to be trying to use the shotgun. We don't have a Hunter Ash on our team. And we're going to have Fear No Evil here. It's going to really pair well with our ability because our fear is going to be reduced if we're not near a fire, and it's very good against Ball. So we're going to be taking less damage. We want Fast Forward because the demons he's good against are Ball and Plague. And the reason for that is Plague requires Inferno Energy to really do damage, and your ability really prevents them from doing that. And they're going to get depossessed very quickly. We need 1 point of first aid just to get to these other 2 perks. His whole kit is revolved around Shems, so you want to carry as many Shems as possible. And if you get rushed in the beginning, we want to at least 3 Shems. So we start off with 3 Shems because of Pike and Pop. You could put a point here, but I don't think it's necessary. This is not going to help you heal more, so you want to put another point here. For my last point that I'm going to get, I will place in this one. Because, yeah, I could put 5%, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. So I'll just go with Sledgehammer or a Mace and be fine. So yeah, I think maybe just that 110% will be fine enough. The things that was very hard to do for his prestige was actually healing, which is very surprising. It's because when you heal, you're giving this damage resistance, so you're not actually having to heal as much. And especially if you teamed up with a Ruby, which I highly recommend, it becomes a problem. Also, reviving 60 survivors from bleeding out, but that's normal, you know. You don't want to, if you're going to win, you've got to keep your teammates alive and not res them off the ground. You have no survivability and no way to really guarantee to pick up survivors off the ground except your ability. And if the demon's at a high enough level, they're not going to get depossessed by the time you pick them up. So, let's talk about team composition with David. So, I talked about it earlier, and Hunter Ash is perfect to run with David. And you want both their abilities to come back as soon as possible, because both their abilities are very strong. Beacon of Hope and Depossession, Exorcist. So you want to run a Ruby. Now, this team comp is not regularly going to have crowd control. Ruby does have crowd control with her ability, but she can't spam it. So in this way, I would consider a Scotty. And the Ruby is going to help boost the Scotty's damage and also help with damage resistance. Now, there was a nerf to damage resistance, and now you can only max out at 50% damage resistance, so you may go over the threshold for damage resistance, but I still feel like Scotty's mostly just spec into damage, because that's they're like glass cannons. And I've run with a P5 Scotty that has done this, and I am not able to keep him alive with just David. You need a Ruby. A P1 Ruby, at least. An even better team composition, if you want to like really rush the demon and kind of work on, like, this is not going to be a good team comp against Puppeteer. Actually, it could be. Would be Ruby, Annie, Hunter Ash, and David. And you could say the same thing with Ruby, Annie, Scotty, and David. And the reason those team comps is good is because you could have both your leaders with fast forward, the balance bar that Annie provides for David and Hunter Ash with their masteries would be very beneficial during book phase. And then Ruby also increases damage for Hunter Ash and David. You can even go Ruby, Annie, Ed. I have a bias with Ed. As you can see, he's the closest one I have to level 30 at Prestige 5. That way you can guarantee higher rarity weapons for your leaders. That way they can really output damage, the same amount of damage as a warrior or a hunter, depending on how they're at their leader spec. So the demons that David is good against, I talked about it before. I would say Ball and Plague. Now, he's good against Ball and Plague in the beginning when he uses his ability until they hit threat level 10. At threat level 10, that's when they get possession 3, so they could stay in their possessions longer. A lot longer. The same could be said for Warlord and Necro. David's pretty good against Necro as well. He doesn't provide the damage resistance that's necessary to counteract Flute, but during book phase, he can throw down his flame before the Dark Ones are finished, or wait for the sound of Flautist, then place his ability down, which is the better choice. And by the time the demon will have to spawn his units away from flames, then summon boss on book or outside of book. So you're going to have all this free time to really damage boss, and the units aren't going to be blocking book for boss. And if you have an Hunter Ash as well, if you pepper him with Shotgun Blast and use your Depossession ability, you have a possibility of just Depossession and not even having to worry about killing him fast, because you'll be depossessing him fast. The only demon I think he's not very good against is Warlord, which is surprising, and Puppeteer, because everyone thinks that Warlord's the weakest. The reason why I say Warlord is not as good, yes, you could have respect so that she has more Inferno Energy in the bottom of her skill tree here by 25%. And this is very noticeable. I've gone against David many a times, and I've gone against Warlords with David. And the fact is, Warlord can output so much damage that the damage reduction that David provides becomes negligible. It's not, you feel like you're Pablo healing, except you don't have the benefit of really providing shields for your teammates. Because like I said, if you saw my build, I'm only spec'ing to Shems and fast forward. So because I'm not guaranteed to find a lot of amulets, and I just want to get as much benefit as I can using my character. The reason he's not good against Puppeteer is because Power Possess. Now I say he's not good against Puppeteer because of Power Possess, which is true. This is why you want to kind of pair David with a Hunter Ass so he can deal with this Power Possess. But David is actually very good against Elagos, the boss, because you could throw down his ability, and the boss will be losing Inferno Energy slowly but surely. Actually, at a very fast rate. And I just found out this recently because it happened to me. I had a Hunter Ash use his Depossession ability on me when I'm using boss while I was moving around. So even though I'm not visible to him, you could still get depossessed by Hunter Ash. So the problem with that is if you use a Depossession ability on boss and he gets depossessed, he could just get Infernal Energy and then return with a Power Possess. But in this instance, this is why David and Ruby are such a good combo, because he's going to be providing damage resistance to everybody, and it's going to be very hard for him to even do damage with the Power Possess. So really, you just want to deal with the most annoying unit in Puppeteer's arsenal. If the demon uses a Elagos and a storm is coming, you know, you might want to just throw down your ability and depossess the boss so you can continue on to the Dark Ones. And you just, you know, basically you have to discuss it with your team on what you guys should do, because it could be the same thing with just going from point to point. Really, if the demon flipped all the cars and you're having trouble going from point to point and he summons boss and you guys can't walk to the next point because he's harassing you too much, you might want to just throw down fire and kind of just chill out and wait for the point until it gets depossessed. Now, I said he was good against Ball, and I say that he's very good against Ball's boss. The problem with that is nobody uses Ball's boss. He's too slow and he's too clunky. So, what is he good against with Ball? Well, his ability reduces fear. And at P1, Ball increases fear on point by 2. As you saw, his P5 ability decreases fear by 3. So you're really decreasing fear by 1, which is, very useful. The problem with that is there's going to be traps on bullets, and if you're not careful, you're just going to get max fear anyways, and you're going to be taking a lot of damage. So Ball has the potential to outdo damage, more damage than Warlord, if a target's marked and they're spec properly, and they're going to be using basics. And the problem with that, like, the elites are very slow, so that's fine. But just the amount of shemps you're going to go through with David is going to be tough with Ball. And this is why Ruby, again, is needed. For the longest time, the team comp that I saw the most, while Ball was pretty strong, Ball is still pretty strong, but I think Puppeteer is stronger, was Ruby, Leader Ash, Scotty, and David. And the reason Scotty is good is because he can reduce his fear for every Deadite he kills. Leader Ash prevents fear increase. He provides a fear resistance to his team. Ruby has a natural fear resistance for herself, and if she gets possessed, the demon's going to be drained of Infernal Energy very quickly. And Ball doesn't have a high Infernal Energy pool, and when he possesses survivors, they can get knocked out of possession very easily. Honestly, I think that's a better team comp against Ball with the Scotty than a Hunter Ash, because Hunter Ash has the ability to really down his whole team if he gets possessed. The thing about that is the elites have an ability, Steel Epidermis, which prevents damage, and it's very hard to kill the elites. And so Annie, I feel like, is a better choice than Leader Ash, because I have this opinion about Leader Ash. I don't think he's a good character, and the reason that is because, I mean, Ball kind of proves the point that he's not a good character. Yes, he provides a fear resistance, but what is that fear resistance when your your whole team is max fear? So the only fear resistance he really provides is for himself. So he provides a damage increase. That's basically it. A damage increase. And to really get him going, you need to use your finishers. It's only a 20% damage increase, which Ruby provides more than that. And she provides stamina regeneration and cooldown reduction and so much more. Damage resistance. So really, he only provides damage. And you can increase it by using Ella Jefe Grande. But that requires you to do finishers. And it says dismemberment. Well, Ball has his units actually take less dismemberment. And the nerf to dismemberment long time ago actually affected this ability. So I know a lot of people love Leader Ash. I see him a lot in games when I play Demon, and I see a lot of P5 Leader Ashes, and I think it's just because the love for the character, not because the character is good. Yeah, so that's my video about David, and my thoughts about what's good team comps, what demons he's good against. He's perfect against Plague. Like, you want to go David against Plague. Yes, Plague could throw down Cauldron to counteract David's ability, but she's going to break even. And David's ability is so good during book phase. So good against Plague. Because all the damage that's required to damage book, you need Infernal Energy for. So you're going to be burning through all your Infernal Energy because of David. Not to mention, if you have a Hunter Ash, you're going to be depossessing the basics, reducing the Infernal Energy even more. It's going to be a bad time for Plague with David. And it kind of makes sense because they kind of make characters to counter out the new demon they're going to introduce, right? They introduced David and Mia at the same time, willing to introduce Plaguebringer. David was the counter to Plaguebringer and still the counter. So, what was the counter to Ball? Brock. I wouldn't say he's the counter to Brock. Schemer or Ball. But he has the same ability that Leader Ash has, where he can basically have zero fear throughout the game and really be able to solo points by himself. And you're going to see my P5 build here right now. So I have it expecting to fast forward. Now Brock was bugged. His Master Influence didn't work, but I still had it this way. You want this to Fear No Evil 3. And the reason I have 3 in here is just so I could resurrect players. You need 2 in cardio. This is a David video though, and so you don't really have the option to really spec into damage with this build. You want your ability to come back as soon as possible. It takes 80 seconds. The only reason I would say Brock is just so you can carry more Shems than necessary. That we can drop the Shems to David. And if you really wanted to go Brock and really worried about cooldown reduction for your team, you would go Ruby, Brock, Hunter Ash, and David. The problem with this is that Brock just doesn't do enough damage. Like, and he does a lot of range damage. Almost as much damage. Like, when she uses her ability, she can do the same amount of damage that Hunter does. Arthur has the same thing. He can do the same amount of damage as a warrior at some points. Ruby, you know, with her ability, let's see, what is it called? Quick Study, you know, she has the potential to do enough range damage or warrior damage. Brock has none of this. Even if you're expecting to range and you run a Hunter, you're not going to even be doing close to Hunter damage. It honestly feels like when I'm expecting to range or melee, that I'm doing the same amount of damage as a support. Like, I literally have to get 2 hits and then I could do a finisher. 2 hits. That's the same thing as a support. And a Hunter. Actually, it's like Hunter melee damage. It's crazy how bad he feels. Like, he's the perfect solo queue character, but he just feels bad. I know I keep talking about Brock, but I just think they dropped the ball on him. I understand why he's like the way he is. Because if they buff him too much, he's going to be overpowered like Ruby and people are going to be playing. But they could have just did something else with him. Like, he has no knockback resistance. Wouldn't that have been wonderful if he uses his active ability and that's what he provides for his team? Is they don't receive knockback. So think about that. You can use Brock and then, like, your support is taking damage and can't heal because Plague is harassing the support. You pop your ability, all of a sudden your support can use a Shemp. Like, that's a leader ability. Like, why didn't they go with that? Like, forget all that mini damage increase and damage reduction provides family members. Like, that would have been cool. Like, you could have just had that and, like, had his aura. Let's see. Obviously, there wouldn't be dismemberment. I always think about dismemberment. Like, I think Arthur should have a dismemberment perk as well to increase dismemberment with edged weapons for the rest of his teams and also range weapons. But Brock, let's see. Probably. There's really not really much you can buff, to be honest, in this game. Like, the only thing I can really think is, like, his aura would perform a nerf to the demon. And I know demon mains would probably hate me saying this, but that's the only real thing I could think of because of what Ruby does. Like, she does everything except fear resistance. And if you want to do a fear resistance build, you run Leader Ash. So what can Brock really provide? And it would unfortunately have to be a nerf to Demon. The problem with that is, what are you going to nerf? The damage that the Demon does that's in your aura? That's the same thing as damage resistance that Ruby provides. A slowdown effect? That would feel awful as Demon. Oh, you know what would be good? A speed up perk. A speed up aura. People in your aura can move a little bit faster, so they don't have to really waste dodges backing up. Like, they could use one dodge instead of two dodges to get out of a demon's area. Now, this would be a little bit too powerful, maybe, but it's a possibility, you know? I mean, Ruby already provides a stamina increase, so I guess to pair them off would be kind of difficult. Like, if you go Ruby and Brock and you have all this stamina regen and also they move a little bit faster, that'd be a little difficult. Maybe you're able to shoot your weapons faster and swing your weapons faster, so it's not a movement speed, just weapon speed increase. So you use a submachine gun, you reload faster, and you shoot faster. And it's the perk would be called Weapon Proficiency. Yeah, something like that, you know? Something easy. So that way it's increasing your overall DPS, but it's not increasing your damage. That way you can get heavier hits off faster. So you can use Scotty or Mia and really pull off these fast hits. And it'll be really good to pair off Mia and Brock, because the speed she has with the machete would be even increased even faster. So she'd be able to get the last word on the last hit faster. Really getting that bleed damage on the unit. So they just have to, you know, use a little bit of creativity. Like, it only took me a couple minutes to think of that. So, yeah. Once again, this is a David video. I know I just ended up talking about Brock, but I really enjoyed the leaders. The reason I P5'd David was for the memes, and I honestly, he's my boy. Best support in the game, hands down. I'm kidding, though. I think he's the best support. He's the best support for me. So thank you for watching the video, and I'll show some gameplay. Thanks for watching.
Good. Maybe it's a disease? Some kind of virus?
So I'm going to be commentating the gameplay during this part of the video. I was looking for some footage here, and luckily I get teammates that really support my character here. The Hunter, Ash, and Ruby, definitely very good team composition with that. I'm not a big fan of Warrior Ash. I think he is one of the coolest characters in the game, but I don't think he has very good team synergy. He requires a lot of help from his teammates to really do damage. But he is going to get that damage resistance from Ruby and his ability, and it's going to reduce his fear. We do go up against a ball that isn't prestige, but I'm using this gameplay just to really showcase the amount of damage resistance you can provide your team. And like I said before, I think that David is a very good counter to ball because of his ability. The problem is he can get feared out of it very easily, and I have been feared out of it many a times against ball players.
Drawn a map and split it into pieces to hide them from the demon. Gather the pieces to find the location of the Candela.
So my whole goal is just to get max amount of shemps here. I see my teams are over there at Vasquez. So I'm going to grab whatever I can from over here. I get lucky. I get a legendary out of a blue crate. Normally I would go with syringes. Just to knock my teammates out of possessions. I considered it picking up the syringes there just in case. But
Stuff is harsh, but I do feel pretty good.
luckily I get a blue double barrel so I can give this to my Hunter Ash as well. Now if the Hunter Ash does get possessed with his gun, he's gonna still be able to down us if we're not careful. And my weapon mastery is actually going to be a problem. So I'm not going to pick up the nail gun. Now I want to bring this double barrel to my Hunter Ash as soon as possible. And the reason behind that is just so he doesn't go down. And plus I need to stay with my team as a support. I can't just go up by myself and expect my team to survive without me.
Nothing this sweet can be helpful.
I didn't drop the double barrel there because grenade launcher was not good with David. I think ranged weapons that are good with David are the shotguns, especially the regular shotgun. Boomstick, double barrel not so much. The reload speed is a little bit too much. I mean, the boomstick has the same speed. As you see, I keep trying to drop this double barrel, but he's not registering that I'm dropping it for him. So I keep pinging it, but yeah, I just have to really drop it in front of his face. I think he was just worried about his fear. So he wanted me to get to a light source as soon as possible.
It's demon hunting time.
Now I only grab the shotgun here just so I can pick ammo on the way, so I don't have to press triangle on everything I pick up. And if the demon was smart, he would know where we were already. Once again, I could have dropped my ability just to reduce everybody's fear, but then it would require us to stand in place in the fire. That's not... we want to get these map pieces as soon as possible. I mean, it doesn't really matter against Ball, because Ball's just going to get the levels regardless, due to the amount of possessions he's going to get. But I feel like it's just better, so we're wasting less gems. And as you see, the first position there, I'm too far away. I just wanted to pepper in a little bit of damage. I dropped fire here because that chest is definitely probably trapped.
Another piece of the map has been collected.
And I didn't want to possess anything here.
Your group is making progress against the dark spirit.
Once my team gets here, we'll open this chest. I prefer the Ruby to do it. I don't want to lose Shemps.
There's no stopping me.
It's a nail gun, but like I said, I don't want to pick it up. The Ruby, it's okay to pick up. And because of the fire, her fear is going down as well, which is it's wonderful here. I decided to go with Blunderbuss. Even though I'm not expecting to Head Seeker. I feel like to get really damaged with Blunderbuss, you need to sect in with Head Seeker as support. To really, I mean, the cooldown is really low. And I'm being very dumb here and running into traps. I know these traps here, and yet I'm still running into them. So I want to go with this Hunter Ash. I am very confident that our Ruby and Warrior Ash are going to have the fear resistance and the damage resistance to really stay on their own here. So I didn't see at these two first tents, so I knew it was over in one of the other two tents over here. And I finally pick up my last gem here.
You have the final
And I want to pick up long gun ammo just for my hunter.
They are key to your success.
Do I not pick up these? Oh wow, I am a garbage support. I think I was very tired when I was playing this game. Like I said, I was trying all day trying to find some,
You have awakened the lost
you
pages
know,
of the Necronomicon.
decent footage.
Stay close
But
and hold your position.
unfortunately, I was just teaming up with the Warriors a lot, and David's just not a good support with Warriors. He doesn't heal as much, and he doesn't provide enough damage resistance for Warriors. So you're basically just not doing enough for Warriors. And the only reason we really thrive in this situation is because David is paired with Ruby here. And I'm going to drop my ability to reduce people's fear here as well. And then the damage resistance here. I missed a shot. Hunter drops his weapon because he's afraid he's going to get possessed, but once again, my ability is reducing his fear here. Now, his fear would still get reduced even if ball was P1. It would just get decreased slower. So, ball is probably going to die from the Hunter Ash, but he could be depossessed here. And the ball player went for the wrong person here. He should have went for the Hunter for the grab. And that's because that's where all the damage is really going to come from. Later on during book phase, we're going to actually see how fast I get my ability back and when the flame dies out. Once again, I am playing very bad this game. I understand why the Warrior Ash kept his submachine gun to knock out the Hunter Ash, but it's really not necessary because this Hunter Ash is dropping his weapon. Yes, there may be a possibility that he gets possessed, but we're doing very well on maintaining our fear here. And I decided to go pick up these amulets for a warrior. And this warrior decides to just give me the amulets instead and use it for a team. I think it'd be better if he used it. And the reason for that is because Ruby's not going to benefit from me using the amulets. The only person that's going to benefit is me and the Hunter Ash. And the thing is, I'm not spec'd into amulets, and I don't know a hunter that does spec into amulets, damage reduction with amulets. So it'd be better if he had it. You know, he could have an endless supply and really not dip into his health pool. I want to start my ability here. He could have feared me. Normal demons usually fear whoever's trying to start the objective, so it takes just a couple seconds longer.
Remain close to ensure its collection.
Yeah, sometimes the units are alive but dead at the same time. So I dropped the ambulance back for the warrior here. My flame is still going. So I can just say I'm really not doing anything. Because to be honest, I'm like, the damage resistance that me and Ruby are providing, oh my, it's crazy. Like, you're gonna see at the end game here, we have so many Shems during book phase that I, could really just drink for 30 seconds. And as I'm doing finishers, I'm watching my teammates' health here. There is a trap in the middle of the room, and I do see it, so I walk around it. pick up the nail gun, and I think I decided to eventually drop it because, like I said, I'm trying to pick up a long gun ammo here for my team. Not really worried about handgun ammo. And you're gonna see me just miss horribly with my nail gun here. And this is because I'm just extremely tired trying to find some gameplay of David being viable. And like I said, I feel like David's really only viable if he's running Ruby.
Your team now holds the Kandarian
But Ruby
dagger,
can run by herself and
an
any of
ancient
this up here.
weapon carved from human bone. The lost pages and Kandarian dagger are in your possession. You have all you need to
So I
banish the
think I have
darkness
my...
back to
I think the ability
Hades.
burns out at 61 seconds. So you really only have like a 61 second cooldown for your ability, which is very strong, especially during book phase. So you literally have two, you know, you literally have your ability all book phase really, and this is why it could be so strong against Plague.
Stuff is harsh, but I do feel pretty.
End of the line.
So my Ruby is behind me, and she is max fear. But I'm just looking for a better weapon here. Ranged weapon, to be honest. I'm hoping for a purple double barrel, just to guarantee the win on book.
Sending you back to hell. They're everywhere. They're hiding in the dark.
And I normally go into my pink F upgrades when I'm in this kind of trap area. I lose my matchsticks and I get a hunting rifle. But personally, I think the blue boomstick is better than the purple hunting rifle. Especially, I feel like the hunting rifle is not good against the elites. It doesn't do enough bounce bar damage, and it doesn't do enough bounce bar damage. This dismemberment is non-existent against ball.
You need to calm the hell
So really, you have to focus on balance bar and damage, and the shotgun is just going to be doing more damage, especially if you expect into, you know, the last bullet. This is why the blue barrel, the blue hunting rifle is a little bit better. Yes, you do get 3 shots, but you get more damage on that last shot. So it's actually better to run through the ammo faster so you get to that final shot. I do like the legendary hunting rifle though. I hear Ball in the background. He drinks a Shemps. I throw down my ability because we're about to start this objective during book phase. So as you see, I threw down my ability nearly 2 minutes here.
Unless it is destroyed by the demon, protect it.
And what happens there? He got depossessed. And this is why I say David is very good count against Ball's boss. I am using long gun, but in my opinion, we have this in the bag. He wasted 2 elites already. You need to preserve your elites, and you can see all these shemps that I just have lying around. There's really nothing that I can do. I drop everything I have. The demons has just given up. And you see, we have all this healing supplies because we didn't really dip into it because of the damage resistance me and Ruby are providing. that they were able to hold off the ship. I think Hunter Ash only used one ship. So there goes my ability again with 46 seconds left on the clock. Now, my ability isn't going to last the whole time. It lasts 33 seconds. But I think the 30 seconds start as soon as the ability is down. And I don't condone for match like that. There's no reason to do it. And this team comp is dirty. The only reason it would be dirtier if we had a Scotty or a Henry. And I'm just drinking the Shams just for the hell of it. But yeah, like you said, it's like the game is on easy mode when you run David and Ruby and Hunter Ash. So, I do think his P5 is worth it because it has so much good synergy with the best characters in the game. So, thanks for watching the gameplay, and if you have any questions or comments, just leave in the comment section. Thank you.